Welcome to this video review. I hope you already noticed that we are now also doing video reviews about scope mounts, because we think that this field of sport optics is a little bit neglected. So I started to review and talk about in details about all the scope mount solutions that are out there. And normally, where would be best to start if not with Blaser? Why? Because Blaser changed this way of thinking about scope mounts really substantially with this scope mount. Because I remember 30 years ago, well, I would say 25 years ago when I was a child, majority of hunters, they used normal Mauser rifles. The K98 was the most common one. And there were basically three types of mounting solutions. Fixed mounts, detachable Sul claw mount, and pivot mounts. And then on this brand specific mounts like Blaser came out with something really revolutionary. They came out with a mount that fits all their rifles. Because still today, if you look at many other producers, they have, let's say, 15 different models of rifles, and then they have 10 or 12 different mounts for these 15 rifles. With Blaser, it was completely different. They said we'll produce one mount that will fit all our rifles, and not only that it will fit all of the repeating rifles, so the Blaser R93 and R8, the same mount fits also on drop barrel rifles, on side-by-side rifles, on single-shot drop barrel rifles, and everything what they have, combination rifles and so on. And this is, I think, the best possible approach you can take if you're producing rifles and scope mounts. In this video, I'm going to talk about Blaser scope mount with 34mm rings, which are, I would say, the most special among all Blaser scope mounts, because the rings are in two different dimensions, they have two different dimensions, how bright they are. And this is something what with no other Blaser mounts is the same. So let's say 30mm, 36, 40mm, they're all the same, but with the 34 you can get different dimension of the rings. The mount itself, the base, is the same with all Blaser mounts. It's made out of single piece steel, really high quality. It's made in EU, and it comes with 2 years warranty. Even though, honestly speaking, with a mount, if it's installed properly, it's really hard that anything would go wrong. It's also 100% repeatable, so you're able to put on and on. And once it is adjusted to a single barrel, you can use multiple mounts on this same barrel. So you can have multiple optics options for your one rifle or one barrel, because we know that Blaser has interchangeable barrels, and the scope goes directly on the barrel. That also means that you're able to switch between barrels and you will not lose zero. When we talk about the rings, like I said, the standard are 6.9mm high. This is this dimension here, 6.9, and they are 16mm bright, or wide, I would say 16mm wide. Then you have the higher option, which is 12.5mm high, and it's got a bigger width of 20mm. And this is meant for tactical scopes. Because what happens, you have to be really careful if you're using the lower option. It can happen that the belly beneath the turrets will touch the base, and this is something what shouldn't happen. So if you're mounting, let's say, a tactical Schmidt & Bender scope or something similar, or tactical Kales or something like that, do check this dimension here, which shouldn't be, the belly of the scope shouldn't be more than 5mm, or even less, 4.5. If it's more, you need the higher rings. But these are not the only options in height, because you are able to buy these inserts, 4mm in dimension. You also get longer screws with them. And then normally you get two additional heights you get with these rings. You get roughly 11 millimeters or 10.9. Or if you take the bigger option, you get approximately 16.5 millimeters of height. You can see it here. Why is this important? Because more and more people among hunters, at least in Europe, are using moderators, and more people are using night vision or thermal clip-ons on their daytime optics. And if you have a barrel with a moderator, or if you have a barrel with iron sights, you will need to get the proper height. A lot of people are sending us email regarding these questions. If you are questioning yourself, what kind of height should I choose, send us an email and we will calculate the approximate height, the needed height. So now let's go to the rings. The rings, like I said, are made out of aluminum, which is not bad because also scopes are made out of aluminum. 4 screws. You have to apply roughly 2.2, 2.3 Newton meters on these screws, not more. The bigger option has 3 screws. Again, 2.2, 2.3 Newton meters is maximum. When you put these rings on the base and put the screw in, the torque value for this screw is approximately 3 Newton meters. I would say also 4, it's not problematic. If you don't have a torque wrench, people are doing this for years. We're doing this for years without a torque wrench. You just have to use the feeling and not over tighten it, that you don't damage the thread. When you're putting the base on your rifle barrel, you have to adjust the clamping force, so of this system. And there are a couple of rules regarding this. First rule is that this is the smartest way to do it, is to put the whole rifle with the barrel in a stand, and you clamp it in so that it's really stiff, that it doesn't move. You put the mount on, and then you need a special screwdriver to adjust the clamping force. The clamping force should be around 5 Newton meters, but it works really interestingly because these 2 screws have no locking anywhere. So, you know, because with other mounts you get a small screw here which you have to untie it to unlock the possibility of applying the proper torque value. Here it's nothing like this, but they have some kind of system of self-locking, so you have to build up force before they move. So you have a feeling that you will break something and then they move, and when they start moving they are really nice. It's really, you can do fine, precise adjustments, but before they move it's like, whoa, they're locked, something will break. But no, you build up force and then they let go. So this all speaks about extremely high quality and great design. Not many moving parts, but it works like it should. If you're not having the torque wrench to really apply exactly 5 Newton meters, you can also do this by trying. You will feel when you get the proper resistance to this movement, when you clamp the mount on the barrel, and you always have to start with the rear one. The adjusting, and always when you're putting the scope up and down, you have to start with the rear clamp first and then the front one. All in all, it's really easy. A lot of people do this at home. So a short summary: with a 34mm scope, if you're using the regional mounts, which is the preferred option, you have 2 ring options. If you prefer a little bit more tactical, a little bit more robust option, go with a 12.5mm height, because they are 20mm wide. The smaller, lower option of 6.9mm height, they're 16mm wide and have 2 screws instead of 3 screws. I also would like to point out again that these mounts are 100% repeatable. They're really reliable. I'm using them myself, so I have a lot of experience with them. They never failed, and I never had any kind of point of impact shift. So they're really tried and tested. Honestly speaking, at least in Europe, there are millions of Blaser rifles, mostly equipped with these original mounts. So they're really a safe bet. They're a little bit expensive normally because they're a high quality product. And you will need a proper screwdriver to adjust them properly on the barrel. So thank you for watching. If I forgot something, please use the comments below, or I should do it like this below. And if you have any kind of video requests, please send us an email or use the comments, and we will do our best to shoot a video to your request. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel.